Look at this map. Imagine a scenario where three separate conflicts ignite on the same day, one in Eastern Europe, a second in the Middle East, and a third in the Pacific. If the United States had to deploy its troops, fighter jets, and supply ships directly from North America, the response would be stalled by geography. Moving a massive naval fleet across the Atlantic or Pacific takes weeks, a delay that would allow an adversary to seize control of the region long before help arrived. But the Pentagon doesn't wait for a crisis to cross the oceans. Aircraft, fuel supplies, and thousands of personnel are already positioned directly next to these potential flashpoints, long before the first shot is fired. Two massive oceans offer the United States natural protection, but they create a severe logistical hurdle for protecting interests abroad. The only way to bypass that hurdle is by maintaining a permanent global footprint. If you look up the size of this footprint, you'll likely encounter a widely cited number: over 800 U.S. military bases worldwide. Yet, official Department of Defense reports list a fraction of that amount. The discrepancy comes down to definitions. The government counts large installations where thousands of troops live with their families. Independent researchers usually count any site where American military operations take place. Many of these sites look nothing like a traditional garrison. A location on the list might simply be a radar array monitoring satellite traffic, a secure server farm, or a warehouse storing jet fuel. Viewing American power through the lens of walled forts misses the reality of how the military operates today. The strength lies in the density and interconnectivity of these specific nodes, forming a continuous global network. In 1945, World War II had just ended, and the Soviet Union emerged as a rival with massive armies already stationed in Europe, capable of rapid movement. American military planners knew that if a sudden ground invasion started, waiting to mobilize troops in New York and ship them across the Atlantic meant Europe would fall before reinforcements arrived. The solution was a doctrine called forward deployment. This strategy required placing soldiers, tanks, and supply lines near potential flashpoints before any conflict began. This shift transformed the U.S. military from a force that traveled abroad only to fight into a permanent resident in dozens of countries. To bridge the gap across the Pacific, the military relies on Guam. It operates as a staging ground stockpiled with submarines and long-range bombers capable of reaching anywhere in East Asia. Further west is Okinawa, Japan. Positioned on the edge of the East China Sea, it acts as the primary door for Marines and naval forces to react instantly to maritime threats. In Europe, Ramstein Air Base in Germany acts as a logistical heart, coordinating troop movements and supply shipments across Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. Then there is Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Its extreme distance from major continents makes it a secure launchpad for strategic bombers, keeping them outside the range of most enemy missiles. Nations hosting these facilities accept foreign troops for highly practical reasons. By leasing the land, they receive protection under the U.S. security umbrella, along with massive local economic stimulus. Each of these scattered nodes operates as a specialized part of a single, interconnected supply chain. For decades, this entire strategy relied on the assumption that oceans provided a buffer against attack. Today, that geographic shield has evaporated. Modern adversaries deploy hypersonic missiles that travel thousands of miles in minutes. Long-range autonomous drones can loiter above targets, and cyber operations can sever command communications without firing a shot. This technology turns large military bases into liabilities. If an airbase holds all the fuel and aircraft for an entire region, a single successful precision strike paralyzes the whole theater of operations. The infrastructure that secured American military reach for 80 years is now an obvious vulnerability in a conflict with a heavily armed peer. Look at this diagram detailing the Pentagon's response, a new doctrine called distributed operations. The goal is to move away from the reliance on giant, centralized hubs. Instead of parking fleets in one location, the military is practicing the rapid dispersal of aircraft, data, and troops. Forces jump between small airfields and civilian runways, never staying static long enough to become easy targets. This design creates a resilient web. If an enemy strike eliminates one or two nodes, the rest of the network absorbs the shock, reroutes the data, and keeps functioning. In the 21st century, military power is measured by the ability of a network